Hello. I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
Hello, and welcome to another episode here at Nerdherder, actually talking about Star Wars for the first time in what feels like a little while.
What's
partly
that?
because we took a break and all that good stuff, but we're here. We're weird. One of us is queer, and we're talking about Star Wars. How are you doing?
Well, you know, I'm pretty queer at the moment.
That is true.
It could always be gayer, of course,
Always.
but you know what? I'm pretty squarely queer.
I'm good. I miss you. This is an odd
Yeah,
exchange
it's
for
weird.
anyone tuning into our live stream. They're seeing us in separate places. It's odd, it's weird, and it's weird for us too. But weird stuff happens with Nerdherder.
You do.
No, I am retreated in the mountains of North Georgia. I would like a damn good cup of coffee myself right now, but nonetheless, I'm here. But I do have coffee in the form of a really fun and cool episode with you, with friends, and I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know if you know, but if you go into the way, way back machine, something
Right.
pretty awesome happened in 1997.
I was alive, yes.
We both were.
I was
Congratulations. Yeah, so Star Wars has the unique privilege of taking multiple generations by storm, and one such instance of that is when they decided to re-release them 25 years ago, ish. So
Jeez.
we're Nerdherder. We do everything approximately, so we are not on the day or probably anywhere near it, honestly. But nonetheless, in 1997. Star Wars decided to do a re-release and call it the Special Editions.
So very special.
So very
On
special.
VHS,
Ooh.
the
Oh,
most advanced technology that you
and
can
laser
imagine.
disc. Thank
And
you.
and Laserdisc,
If
the most
anybody remembers
advanced
that.
technology. Not
yeah,
Betamax.
No, you used to be the cool kid if you had a laserdisc player. Good luck finding one now. But no, so I just think it's so interesting. Like, obviously, we like Star Wars. That's what the foundation of the nerd herd has been built on and everything. But, thinking about the fact that 25 years ago, which somebody pointed out, and it's super mind-blowing to me, that there's been more time since the special editions than there were between the originals and the special editions. It's kind of crazy. It's only 5 years, but still, we have the chance of being alive longer than George Lucas could wait to release his movies again for more money.
And more money did he make?
But to think that, I can't think of many other things that would release and be like, hey, watch this again. In fact, that was part of the tagline, watch it for the first time again. It's pretty epic. So we figured if we're going to talk about such epicness and we're going to have an episode about special editions, we should have a special edition of Nerdherder. And by that, I mean we should have another episode of Nerdherder, but
watch it again.
Right, for the first time. No, we decided to have guests for the first time with us. Especially if you've been journeying with us through the Batmans. We had a lot of familiar faces throughout, and faces you will surely see again because we love those people, but we also love these people. We have the lovely Gerry and Matt, both from their own respective podcasts, but welcome aboard, guys. How are you all doing?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hello. Yeah, very well.
Oh, thank you for saying yes. Look, anytime I try to catch people when they're slightly off kilter and inebriated, so that they'll say yes to this. Apparently, Gerry, you don't need much workup to say yes to Nerdherder, but
no. I'm very well lubricated into just sliding into
slides right in.
Nerdherder's DMs. Yes.
What are we talking about again?
Sorry, it's too early in the morning for Matt right now. So
never.
I've mentioned two words that are questionable, and Matt is still waking up. So I'm sorry.
That's true. Yeah, because we have
Go on.
Matt here with us from all the way on the other side of the world, sort of. I don't know where Australia is. Is Australia real?
No.
It exists in a different plane of time.
It depends on who you ask. Britain?
Michael's not here to say it, but multiple sources confirm Australia.
According to flat earthers, no, it's not real. It's a fake place. Alden, this is for you.
There you go.
I can see you in the live chat.
Mac's actually in a studio in Burbank right now.
That's some good ASMR.
It's where they filmed the moon landing. Actually, it's
yes,
wonderful.
Absolutely.
You know, Michael Bay filmed the moon landing.
It's where they keep all the kangaroos too.
Well, guys, I think that's actually the first coffee pour on Nerdherder. I think that's lovely.
Won't be your last.
Nice.
And look, Darth Vader mug. It proves I like Star Wars.
There you go.
Merch.
I got Baby Yoda on my hat.
I've got a Star Wars.
I've watched a Star Wars.
I have watched a Star Wars. I hope so, because that's what we're talking about. Again, commemorating something like this, and it wasn't originally, not in the sense of an anniversary celebration, but Meg and I have gone back and forth talking about how much we enjoy the special editions, and just the fact that that they are, for our generation, the most definitive version, if you recall Star Wars, right? If you think of a scene, or if you think of certain scenes, the way you see it in your mind has been shaped by the re-release of these films, and so it's a really special thing. Oh, Omar, welcome. I'm a nerd for Omar. Check out his YouTube channel. He's got great videos. He's an awesome human being. Makes me cry. But so Star Wars special editions have been special to me, and so. At one point or another, we've talked about and tossed around, when are we going to do this episode? And it just happens to work out that, it's a big year for the special editions, 25 years. That's kind of insane. That dates how long I've been a Star Wars fan for me, really. I discovered Star Wars a little bit before that happened, because I remember the very quick trade from old raggedy VHSs, 3 separate movies, to one box set. It was my first experience with a box set. My second experience was Titanic. It's weird, but it was the first time kind of really like in awe of Star Wars for me. And so, but 25 years later, I still love the dang thing, even though it makes people idiots on Twitter
mad. Makes them mad.
But luckily, Twitter's not full of just idiots. It's full of wonderful people like you. So, Matt, I'm going to start with you.
Hi.
Tell us where you hail from. I mean, you come from Blue Bantha. That might not be familiar.
Melbourne. From Melbourne. Melbourne. So Blue Bantha Milk Co. is mine and Sean's, and soon to be a third person's, which we're announcing tomorrow's YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's
baby brother.
That's cool. Yeah, baby brother.
Thanks again for the opportunity. Oh, sorry. No, sorry.
What was the question?
Give it away.
Where
Give it away
from?
there. No.
Just Blue Bantha Milk Co. Yeah, we're on YouTube. We make stuff. I'm also from Australia. Was it a broad question? I can't remember.
No.
A broad sweeping. Hey,
if you want to get
about
bank
that?
codes, social security, whatever you want to disclose.
My mother's parents moved to Australia post World War II. Anyway, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Blue Bantha Milk. Check them out. They're lovely. I will say, the sultry voice. If you enjoy that in your ears, then get you some Blue Bantha Milk for sure.
Yes.
No one has ever called my voice sultry before, but thank you. I tend to go with automaton. That tends to work for me.
Sultry Automaton is a great punk band name, by the way.
That is, what are you talking about? It's already, I just registered the domain as we speak.
We roll in good band names here. We say so many things we name so many bands. Just credit us when you get big. Like when you're opening for the big boys, just remember us. Just remember us.
I definitely will.
Jerry.
I remember us, you sultry automaton.
Yeah. I'd love to hear that. Jerry, what about you, man? The Bombad cast. The lovely and always professional Bombad cast.
Yes, lovely and always professional. Sorry, Mr. Alden Diaz in the chat. leader of the Octo Radio show there. I'm actually repping a
heck.
little Octo Radio today.
Look at you.
I went to
man.
turn in my taxes to Uncle Sam wearing an Octo Radio shirt. So
You had Alden's.
you might be getting a phone call. You might be getting a phone call, Alden. Probably from the government.
Gerry, did you claim him as a dependent?
Not yet. No, I claimed him as an asset. So
there you go. There you go.
See,
He's no good to you dead.
whatever.
So
No, exactly. But anyway, yeah. So Bombad Cast, we do a very even keel, very cultured show on Thursday nights live on YouTube, where we slurp, make mayonnaise noises, and talk about a lot of different things. This past week we actually last night we talked about Morbius, and I won't spoil it here. But boy howdy did that movie. It just is. Yes. Yeah, it really did, man. It did. And at the end it ended. It was great. But anyway, yeah. But I just, we've all been kind of friends for a while and everything. And I think this is my first time actually being on Nerdherder, isn't it? Or am I not remembering that? And oh my goodness. Well,
yes,
I'm very honored. I'm excited to be here.
We're honored to have both of you. Anytime we can get.
It's great to be here.
It's great. Can't wait to drown those expectations.
Hey, expectations are low. There's not much you can do.
Low like Morbius.
Hey, look, but on a high note off of that, found out backstage before all of this started that we're all fans of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So
yes, we did.
That just confirmed for me that we picked good from the crop of podcasters for tonight. I kind of
film palettes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I kind of started out. I've shared a little bit about how I kind of came to first experience the special editions. It was definitely pivotal for me. But I wonder about for you all, what was the start like with the special editions? Were you already a Star Wars fan? Was this what did it for you? Any special memories associated with when this happened? I'm going to start with you, Matt, because you're older. You look older.
Wow.
It's the bald head.
That's rude. I'm sorry, Matt. My goodness.
Hold on. How do I?
Father Time. Yes, your answer, please.
Leave studio. Where have we got here? Leave studio. So yeah, as you
need your reading glasses. Sorry, I'll stop.
Papa Matt. Papa Matt.
The year was 1997, and I was eating a piece of toast.
So 1997, I was 15, and cinema release of the special editions was happening, but not before a big television and other media advertising campaign that was advertising being able to purchase, to own the original Star Wars trilogy for the last time ever. And that was, I think that began maybe like the year before. So that was when they released the THX special edition, or the THX updated editions, which were like, new updated screening, green screening and all that sort of stuff. Better audio mix. I think it was in stereo, like that kind of thing. And that was the first complete set of anything that I ever bought. So yeah, like at that age I was like, yes, Star Wars still, the tapes that Dad had recorded from television were well and truly showing their age, but like as far as special memories of the special editions go, I feel like that was this one big period, because like you have the advertising campaign that was leading up to the originals being re-released. There was the purchase of the re-releases, and then, watching the hell out of those, but also that weird feeling of all of a sudden watching something and going, oh, yep, ad break, and there being no ad break because it's a commercially bought tape. Wow. And then not all that long after started the advertising campaign for the special editions coming to cinema, and that whole like, you know, penny dropping where you go, hold on, I thought that was the last time you're going to be able to get it, but they're putting it in the cinema and it's been changed. So is that what they meant when they said the originals? So like, and all these things, and you know, my 15-year-old brain, you know, just like going like, girls, Star Wars, girls and Star Wars. This stuff goes together really well. You know, so like, yeah, that long cycle lasted for the better part of 2 years, you know, where it was just constantly something new but old happening, and then finally, yeah, getting to go and see A New Hope at the cinema, because I think they staggered the release as well. So it was like A New Hope hit the cinema, and then the period after that, it was Empire, and then Return of the Jedi. And I can't remember how far apart. Hey, Raven.
Hi, Raven.
Raven.
I can't remember how far apart. Does anyone know how far apart it was?
Longer than 2 weeks. I know, like they wanted a proper box office a second time.
Yeah, was it months or years? I can't even.
I think it wasn't years. It started in early February and ended in late March, so it had to have been 2 to 3 weeks between each.
Yeah,
but it was.
God, there was a lot of cinema going at that time.
There was a second round of
like
Star Wars takeover for sure.
Yeah,
it was huge. And like you mentioned, there was, you know, now we kind of understand what was going on, but there was a lot of different special things happening with Star Wars in that time. There was the original preservation mode, and I don't know if they had the idea when they started that, or if that created the idea of, man, some of this looks like crap. You know, with what we can do now, we do so much better. I don't know, but yeah, there was this process of like, if we don't save the movies now, we're not going to have any quality to work off of.
Yeah, well, it was degrading, and I remembered hearing or reading about that, or something at the time. And obviously, there's been stuff since then, but
sure,
yeah, like the original film stock was just not doing very well, basically. You know, sitting in an archive somewhere.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
Apparently, it just that, and you know, it was the beginning. It was a cheap budget by movie standards, so you know, it makes sense. But yeah, again, there was quite that takeover. Any special things come out of that for you, Gerry?
Well, I mean, I was about it was 97, right?
Yes.
Yes, so I was like
theaters,
I was 10 when the special editions came out, but like, and I actually have real quick.
Oh,
my original VHS box sets for my parents got.
Well, you got both.
That own them for the last time, and then when the special editions came out, I bugged my parents until they bought me this one, which I think I got for Christmas or something, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But you know, before then, like I had seen them on TV, but you know, my parents got the originals for me, and I watched those over and over again. Then they came out in the theaters and was like, we've got to go. We got to go see them. And my parents were, we're going to go every time they come. One of those comes out, we're going to go watch. But I just remember like being a 10-year-old in 1997 when the Star Wars movies were coming back out. And I don't remember ever seeing the See Them Again for the First Time trailer. I mean, I maybe saw it on TV or something, like a small, like a TV spot version. But, you know, like the hype around it was like almost like Phantom Menace level, because it was a huge event. I mean, they even like had I think Taco Bell had like kids meal toys, you know, and like I still have actually, I might even have one right here I have all my stuff from that time within arm's reach. Apparently, I have one of this is from the special editions. Actually, yeah, Star Wars. It's very dusty, but The Empire Strikes Back, where like one side it's Yoda and one side it's Vader.
Wow.
Because they cast a black magic evil spell on it, and that is why those heads float inside of that tiny box.
They invoke Satan.
Yes, that's what it is. But anyway, and like just real quick, because I have one last special edition little paraphernalia here.
Oh my
just
God.
like off to the side.
Oh, wow.
Because I can't find Joe Yowza. I can't find Joe Yowza right now. But anyway, can you tell I like him?
Leatherface Jabba.
But I've got like that is Michael Chiklis Jabba, as I like to call him.
Yes.
Michael Chiklis of the Shield, and Fantastic Four fame. But and I'm no offense to Michael Chiklis.
No.
My apologies, buddy.
Of course not.
You're a
You
great.
should be honored.
You should be honored. I love Michael Chiklis Jabba. Sorry. I'm sorry, Michael. But like I was so excited. Like I was bugging my parents to go. Like, can we please go get the toys from the thing? Like, I have a memory. I don't know which one it was. For some reason, I want to say it's Return of the Jedi, but I have a memory of walking out of the little 2-screen theater in my hometown. I don't know why we went to that one to see. I guess it played it at that time. That was back before it was a bargain theater, and I remember like just the sidewalk being packed. Of just like people and just like being so excited, talking about all the stuff that they put in and everything, and like, it's just, I don't like it. It was a very special time. It got me really hyped. Like, I think that the 1-2 punch, I was like more of I was more into like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, and, the Holy Trinity of stuff like that, except for He-Man. I wasn't into the Holy Trinity, I guess. So, those last couple of years before like the special editions came out, like whenever they released the originals and everything, and then the special editions, that fully cemented me, I think, as like, I love this. I love Star Wars. Like, I love everything about this. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the way it makes me feel. There was just something about it. And but it was anyway. My parents raised me on 80s movies. Anyway, it was pretty fantastic. I had some pretty good, fantastic 80s nostalgia raised. So whatever. It is what it is.
Omar, you just unlocked a very specific memory in my mind.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So
It does make the fart noise.
They even made that noise down here.
Not
too.
anymore because
Same
it's a little broken here, but I'm pretty sure this.
Oh,
one
you've lost your sucky on the box thing.
I've lost
like
the sucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You need a good
Mark here.
suction
So
to make a fart.
I think I've shared this on the
Like an
podcast
accordion.
before, but there you go. Some ASMR working back in there. I think I've shared it before, but like I grew up, I had the originals, but they were all 3 recorded on one VHS tape off of
What? Like long play kind of style.
Really?
Yes, my mom did
Ooh.
it.
It's a long tape.
And I used to think I was the cool kid, and I bragged about this forever because this was before even she had recorded it before even it was 4, 5, and 6. And so she had written it as Star Wars 2, and Star Wars 3.
Nice.
And so I was the kid going around getting in fights because I said I had Star Wars episode 1, 2, and 3, and said I had already seen it when they were talking about episode 1 and all that. I was like, that's what I was like. I've seen episode 1, but I wore the crap out of that. So I know a part of the special edition stuff, and part of the reason we got it was literally just because I enjoyed it so much that I had killed a VHS, and so I didn't get to be a part of the hype around the theater experience. I didn't see one until '99 with the Phantom Menace.
Right.
My mom literally just bought the special editions because it was Star Wars that's legally available, finally, and that she found at Walmart. And
Nice.
Here we go. And as
Thanks,
Andy,
Walmart.
which friend of the show,
Thanks,
Andy,
capitalism.
as they mentioned, like it was something that really was so exciting and special, and it definitely. If not for getting the updated, like if Star Wars had just died because the VHS died, who knows? There'd be no Nerdherder maybe.
I mean,
there'd be no
probably
It's
not.
God.
Sad world.
There'd be a lot less Star Wars podcasts.
A lot
which-
less
what would we do then?
strange mayo noises coming from Bombcast for sure.
Yes. Boop.
Yes, dear.
What about you with special edition? Because you and I kind of talked about this, actually.
Yes.
But for the sake of our guests and our listeners, like what was your special, not special
Well,
thing.
you see, as a young child, Star Wars was just a movie that we watched. Um, I remember very fondly sitting on the couch with my dad and watching mostly Empire Strikes Back. We wore out that VHS tape because it was the best one. But yeah, I didn't have my Star Wars aha moment, as I like to call it, until much later in my life. So I didn't have, a lot of memories attached to seeing the special editions. I mean, we had the box set. We had I have very specific memories of fast forwarding through the interviews at the beginning just to get
Every
to the
time.
good stuff.
I did too.
Heathens.
I did too.
Yep,
Like,
same.
yeah, my
Listen,
current self
you
is
little
so
nerd.
upset. No, I was not. Yeah,
I don't got
yeah.
time
I wanted
like
to get to
that.
the lightsaber. I want to get to the
Exactly.
flashy bits.
I want to
Yeah.
see a man's hand
So-
get cut off. All right, I don't got a time to
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to you, Leonard Malkin. Like, come on.
So by the time
I came here to see space frogs and people get their limbs cut off. Okay, let's go.
and I'm all out of gum.
Welcome to Nerdherder.
Right.
Right.
By that time, I'd already really fallen in love with film and several films, and I'd fallen in love with behind the scenes. And so at that time, it was really inaccessible to Star Wars behind the scenes. The internet was just ramping up, and soon leading up to episode 1 and thereafter, getting the beginnings of like the interweb and blog posting about those kinds of things. There wasn't a lot of opportunity to just hear George Lucas talk about this, to talk about the inner workings and everything like that. And so like, I remember when I put it in, and I had that urge when I first saw it of like, this isn't the movie, let's go. But like, I paused and I watched it, and man, I was enraptured because I love, and to this day, I love hearing George talk about Star Wars, especially pre-episode 3, because and I only say that specifically because there's things that happened with the last one that I think kind of really cemented some of the sort of kind of lesser feelings he has about it now. I'm assuming a lot about a man I don't know. All I know is he likes flannel, and I do too. So I feel like we have a bit of a connection. And I just feel like now it's very much like, wow, you're doing cool things with a thing I made. And I don't see as much as like what I saw in these interviews when he's talking very passionately, very, very, eagerly. And so I remember
Hadn't worn him down yet.
Yeah, not yet. The fans
Yes.
hadn't gotten to him
Right.
yet.
Yeah.
Right, and that it wasn't just Hollywood. It wasn't just the production. It was fans too. It was a lot of things led to the depressed Uncle George that we have now, and shame on us for it. But when he was in his prime, had the lovely gray coif and all that good stuff.
Oh yes,
I
he had beautiful hair.
loved hearing him talk about
Beautiful.
Star Wars, and so I loved those interviews. So shame on all of you, but back to
Yeah,
you.
definitely shame on us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shame
I
on
mean-
all of them. I was never one of those.
There's,
I don't
there's
think
something...
they've put those particular interviews on other formats. I don't think, because I think they were specifically like as openings to those tapes. So I don't know where that and I haven't got a VHS.
You can find them on
player.
YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
And,
sure.
when
that
you
you can.
find it on YouTube,
But-
and I went back and rewatched them for the first time since The Force Awakens, I think, because I went on a huge nostalgic binge after Episode 7 released. But I watched them again, and you can explicitly tell, they're ripped right off of the VHSs. Those weren't digitally saved and redistributed. Like they were just tied to that special edition box. It was special. It was
Special edition.
Hey,
It wasn't just the CGI.
take a drink,
walk-
everyone.
Um,
Sorry, I used to the magic
I'm the
word.
only one without a drink. Come on, guys. Anyway, Boo, please.
So delicious.
Your
very tasty.
special, not special experience with Star Wars. I ask as she takes a sip of ginger beer.
Listen, man, you gotta watch out for when I'm taking sips. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just a movie that we watched on the weekend together, and I had no idea what made the special edition special because I had no memory of seeing, the original editions. The
Had you
special
though?
editions were all I'd ever seen.
Okay, that was everything that you'd seen.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, wow.
And I didn't know what the changes were until like an embarrassingly long time down the road when like there were
Fans want you to believe.
rumblings of a
Yeah,
new
it's not embarrassing.
trilogy coming out and like people arguing online about like, well, I think that the original trilogy, like the original trilogy is better because of these things. I mean, why would they put a beak on the Sarlacc? Like,
Yeah.
because it looks better.
Because it
Yeah.
was pretty freaking cool in Book of
Exactly.
Boba Fett.
Really
That's why.
cool. I still think it's
I
cool.
was-
It
I
took
remember
it
I was
from
still,
being-
yeah, I was still so like at first I was so upset because I was like, where's the beak of the
Right.
of the thing when they were like looking in the
There it
empty hole? I was
was.
like, did it like burn the beak away or something? Then it actually anyway, I was like, this is special edition erasure. Anyway,
Well, right.
It's a
well,
retreating beak.
I remember
yes.
Sheathed beak. That's another band name.
not long ago I'd
Sheathed
seen that scene again without the it was cut into a movie and into a commentary video. For some reason they picked that one specifically, and it was so weird seeing just the undulating toothy
The
hole.
butthole.
Yeah,
The butthole.
there's
Space
no other
butthole.
way to like
Yes.
without the beak, it's just wrong.
Exactly. Without the beak, it's just a crater that looks like a
Without-
cooter. Like
Without
You need
the
the
beak,
beak.
you're gonna get a content warning on Twitter. Okay,
Right.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I did not
That's why I said butthole.
sign up to
Come on.
watch Teeth. I'm here for Star
Exactly.
Wars.
Come on, man.
No.
Teeth is not that bad of a movie.
No, it's
Um,
good. Good
but
movie.
well, and yeah, like you hit on a point, and yeah,
What the
understand.
butthole point is that? That's always my point.
An actual point, Matt.
Teeth being a good movie, yeah.
Fandom has created this atmosphere of greater, lesser, or even this badge of honor. If you know every explicit change that's ever, do you know how many times the color grading on certain films have changed? Like,
Yeah.
just enjoy the movies. What like I get
Right.
it if you're a film nerd and that's the way you enjoy movies is the things. But like, if you're here for Star Wars, be here for Star Wars, whether it's a CGI Cloud City or a practical white Cloud City, like
Mhm.
whatever. But and Meg and I were talking before about this of just like I kind of hope, and I'm going against my hope and my dream now because we're talking about the special editions and what makes them special. But I kind of hope we stop talking about the special editions in that way so that special editions just become the edition. Like
Mhm.
we stop
Mhm.
talking about the changes, the
Just like
original.
George Lucas intended.
Exactly. For an
Uh,
entire generation. This
before you
is
get
As our
what
God
Star Wars
intended.
always has
Yes.
been.
Yeah.
Because at some point a kid's going to grow up and that like Meg, that's going to be the only Star Wars they know and they experience, and that's okay if they don't know that scene didn't exist originally. That's perfectly fine. Do they love Star Wars? Cool, they're a fan, they're in, let's go. Like
Or it becomes
Nolan-
old trivia, like I mean
Yeah.
that's kind of like where it will be, I guess, when people who grew up with the special editions only have their own kids, which is sort of now. I mean, that's kind of where things are at now. It's only people that are in that generation older than me who didn't grow up with special editions and weren't in that crossover generation, where like the original trilogy was their thing, like they're the ones that are still, sitting there like making crap commentary about like, oh, they put a rock in front of R2 and it's ruined the movie. How dare they?
Excuse me,
They put
people older than you, and then Scotty J. Rowe, who was younger than me. I'm sorry, I just got to put that in there.
right.
Who
Scotty's
listens
a
to
purist.
Scotty J. Rowe?
Scotty is a
No one
purist,
should listen to Scotty.
but he likes Morbius, so who cares?
So-
Who cares what he thinks?
My thing is like one versus the other doesn't matter. Like, yes, in my dream
It doesn't.
world,
Right.
what exists is the version, and that whatever it is what it is. But like,
Mhm.
this culture around pure Star Wars or original Star Wars, I think at some point just has to go away, because at the end of the day, the heart of Star Wars, nothing was changed about what Star Wars is as a story and as a cast of inspiring characters by any of the editions, right?
Mm.
So-
Right.
And that's why for me, I don't care which version I watch, right? Like I don't care, because Star Wars is still Star Wars. Nobody's ruined it, despite Star Wars theory. But yeah, he does a lot of commentary for a theory YouTube channel. But
Right?
like
You should change his name to Star Wars Opinion.
Star Wars bad
Yeah.
taste. No, sorry,
Star Wars
Okay.
cries a
only
lot, maybe,
character
which
that
I
has
should
it.
say that because Scott, me and Scotty cry a lot too. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, you
whatever.
do. You
Scotty,
do cry quite a bit.
We cry
That's
a
not a bad
bunch.
thing though.
Here's the thing: outside of Star Wars opinions, I'm sure he's a fine dude, or at least I
Sure.
hope so.
Well,
but-
I saw him at Star Wars Celebration Chicago and walked right past him.
oh, he was there.
But anyway, oh yeah, I recognized him, and he was like, anyway,
Really?
yeah, you hear me, Theory? You hear me? I was right next to you, and I walked right past because I don't care. I don't care, buddy. Come at me. I'm gonna like shoot a promo right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna like
careful, you're
fight him
coming-
like.
You're coming
Anyway.
after Nerdherder's biggest fan right there.
Ooh,
Listen,
sorry, Theory.
So speaking of changes, again, I'm going against my intended dream of Star Wars here. But speaking of changes, is there any that specifically stick out, or are there any that you're like, I like this better? Actually, Gerry, I'm going to go to you first because I know you have one, and I love you for it because I just love knowing I'm not the only one that loves Jedi Rocks, right? Like I just
Oh yeah.
oh. So anyway, but Gerry, yeah, take it away. What changes do you actually like?
Well, okay, so that's the one I get the most, I think, hell for, is that I'm like, Jedi Rocks is I like it. I like Jedi Rocks. Then people throw rocks at me, which does
I
not
would throw
Jedi
rocks
Rocks.
at you right
Rocks
now
at
if I
you.
could.
Rocks and
Right,
small squirrels.
right. I know. Is that. But anyway, like that's the one place where I think I lose Matt. But anyway, and I like Lopty Neck too. Like I like it. Like they're all good. Like I like Lopty Neck. I like the Ewoks singing Yub Nub and
Yep.
the celebration theme. I like the victory celebration a little better, but you know, like Lopty Neck, Jedi Rocks, whatever. Jedi Rocks though takes a little higher price for me because of one Zhao H Yowza. Okay,
Mhm.
Mr.
Which,
Zhao
how do you
H
pronounce his
Yowza.
full name?
Is Yowza, I
Mm.
believe.
Wait,
Mm.
There might be a couple
wait.
of in there.
One more time.
So, Yowza,
I'm pretty sure you just cursed out a Klingon's mom, but okay, continue.
probably. My apologies, Mrs. Worf. But anyway, yeah, no, for one thing, I always thought that character like design was cool. I always thought the creature design was cool. I'm a big creature guy. I always have been.
You're also a big
That was, I think, a biggest thing that like sold me on Star Wars. And I think, if I remember, I think Return of the Jedi was my favorite, the one I would watch the most for a while because it has the most creatures and stuff in it, right? You know, you got the Rancor, you've got like all that, you know, and different kind of alien species and stuff. But there was just something about Zhao Yowza and his. You get a really good look. You get a really good look at his tonsils and stuff. And
They're beautiful tonsils.
I just thought that was I thought that was cool because I was like, whoa, look, this is like the most new thing out of all of this stuff, you know. And everyone else was like, I want to burn George Lucas's flannels, or something, you know. But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know, like I don't know if I'd say that's my favorite change. I don't know, like I just get like I don't even know if I have like a favorite change, honestly. But there's just, I don't know, like,
That's fine.
listen,
I mean,
they're the
be
George
anything
Lucas
you like.
definitive versions, okay? So
Yeah.
just yeah. That's what I love about them.
Right. No, when it doesn't have to be about ranking favorites or any. It's just appreciation. It's all
Absolutely.
all love. Boop. What about you? Do you have any? I mean, obviously, since you've been a little more educated on the changes, but like, do you have any favorite thing where you're like, I'm glad they did this?
Look, man, Cloud City looks amazing. Like
That's great.
That's a big
I
one.
don't like Gerry said. This is the definitive. This is what George Lucas wanted it to look like all the way back in 1977 through 80 something. I'm a bad Star Wars fan. I don't remember when the last one came out.
Canceled.
Thank you.
83.
I beg of you, cancel me. Get me out of here.
Cancel me and my
not
pets.
miss.
That's all I ask.
Yes. But yeah, like, how can you look at the beautiful cityscape of Cloud City, and how could you look at the shot of the X-wings approaching the Death Star and be like,
Oh, I love that thing.
this is bad. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like,
So good.
it's beautiful. I love all of the new CGI shots that were added, and I think they just add so much to a story that we already love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, I mean, and it's funny just because the biggest thing, that's my dog. There's biggest
Yeah.
things that the fan base kind of hates um have the least to do with any of the story, right? Like what does the band in Jabba's palace have to do really with the story? What does the rock in front of art like what does it matter? Like it's so funny to me what fans choose to hate on sometimes. But no, I agree. Cloud City's beautiful.
Mhm.
I remember even before I really understood what special edition meant, I knew when I watched that whole thing is completely different. This was new and beautiful. So, Matt, got any favorites? Got any things you like that they did? Like when George was with your Star Wars?
I mean, so all of Empire, like, I mean, there are things that obviously I think you could say are superfluous. You know, things like, and I bring it up again, the rock in front of R2 could have not done it, wouldn't have made a difference whatsoever. Why do it? So, like, you can ask that question, but also, does it matter that it's there? No, it doesn't. But I think Empire and yeah, Cloud City and all of the changes in that film they strike that level that you would classify as kind of less is more. It's the stuff that sort of sinks into the background and seems so obvious that it should have just been there that you don't give it a second thought. And that I think encapsulates what he did with that film so well. Like there aren't, other than the exterior stuff of Cloud City, like a lot of the other changes, ask me what they are, I couldn't tell you what they are anymore. You know what I mean? It's at that kind of level,
Yeah.
because nothing's garish, nothing stands out so overtly. So I really love that, because I think it polished the film in a way that just it didn't. You know, when you go back and watch those old hallway scenes, and you're like, yeah, geez, this was it. Like, it's literally someone in a fluorescently lit hallway, and that's this grand city in the clouds. Like, I mean, that to me doesn't make much sense, but obviously production constraints. Cool.
Sure.
So that stuff I really love. Going to A New Hope, I love the establishing shots there as well. I mean, some of them look a little janky these days. Like, you know, there's one at ground level where you've got like those little mouse things or whatever they are scuttling around, and some of it still looks a little janky. But as a whole, like, A New Hope's very, very much a film of locked shots. There's not much camera movement in that film. It's like, you know, locked shot, locked shot, locked shot, locked shot. And it adds in some much needed motion. You know, like, so, like, lots of like, let's look at the city, let's pull back, let's rise, all this stuff that makes sense. It blends in, and it makes the film feel a little more up to date, if that makes sense. Because, like,
Absolutely.
you know, the style of filmmaking, you know, obviously we've gone so far in another direction now that, you know, sometimes movies are just all movement, continuous movement all the time, to the point that it makes you feel nauseous. But going back, movies didn't have a lot of still shots were just kind of the thing you did, and it makes it feel a little more up to date and a little more in line with the rest of the movies as they've gone forward. So I appreciate all of that stuff from a technical aspect. You know, Boop, as you mentioned, the X-wings approaching the Death Star. I wish there were more of them. And I mean, God, like, if I was gonna, God, stop me if I'm segueing into something that we were going to talk about. But if I had my wish, I'd re-specialize the special editions again. I would go and update all all of it, not just the stuff that got added in, but I would replace CGI Jabba again, and I would do that across all of the movies. I would make him look like actual Jabba the Hutt, not that weird thing that we've got.
Not Michael Chiklis.
Not Michael Chiklis Jabba.
They
I would
replaced him with
add-
Phantom Menace Jabba a couple years later on the DVD. It's fine. It's
Do
fine.
it again.
Do it
again.
Yeah, but
Make him
it
look
does need
better.
to be done again.
Yeah, but like just do all that stuff again, even down to things like what do you call it, like the laser fire and stuff like that. Like I know it's got this kind of effect, but I would love to see a version, and I'm probably one of few. I would love to see a version of it which takes the opposite approach to what some of these like purists do, where they go, we're going to make a better special edition by getting rid of it and updating the effects. I'd push it all the way in the other direction. I'd put 2022 effects and VFX and finishing over the top of it and see what it looks like. I'd love that. The other thing, I would take those CGI X-Wings and I would replace them with CGI scans of the models.
Ooh.
And
That would
they're
be
still
so cool.
CGI, but I would use those and have tons of them. I would. There's lots of little things like that I'd do, and I would go back and I would put Lapti-Nek back in. I hate Jedi Rocks. It's the one thing that I don't.
But
like.
what if they did a 2-song set? What if they do a 2-song set?
Let's do a twofer.
Can you leave me my Yowza at least?
Leave the manateeism. Come on.
No.
Have a heart.
Let's do Yowza, but Gerry gets to do the mocap for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh god, that'd be funny. Thing about that.
He could just be snapping in behind a Sai. Okay.
One more thing I'll say about that, and then I will relinquish the speaking totem. When was it? Was it a year ago? Sean, co-host of the channel, we went and we watched all 3 films back to back at IMAX.
Oh wow!
Nice.
And that was great. Now, something that I think can really be said about Return of the Jedi is watching the entire Jabba's palace sequence, basically from the song bit. I think you could skip it. I don't think that at home, like, it really does a hell of a lot. It's a mission to get Han back. It shows a little bit of character stuff about Luke, but God, it's a lot of movie for a little. But I like it. Yeah, cool. I like it. I hate the song. In a cinema though, it's actually really good. That whole film plays very well. Sean pointed this out, and I really agree with him. That whole film plays out as a cinema experience, I think, better than it does as an at-home experience, because it's big. I mean, it's a freaking movie with a musical number in it, and it's big and loud and kind of crazy, and it's like, what the hell? And sometimes being surrounded and in that dark little cave of a cinema is like the right place to sort of experience that kind of thing, if that makes sense. Like, it works. It works really well in that environment, but I still hate the song because I think it changes. I think
keeps coming back to that.
The tone of Lapti-Nek, I think, worked better as kind of like a 60s, or not a 60s. Oh, was that kind of the vibe they're going for? They're going for a gangster, right? Like a bit of a lounge gangster.
Very similar to the dance number
that worked
of Temple. It's
Mm-hmm.
that George loves that sort of boom bop kind of jazz studio gangster in the back kind of vibe. You can definitely tell.
And I love it. I love the tone of the original song a bit and I think that it moves into. I go both ways on this. I think it moves into the Rancor pit scene a little more smoothly for whatever reason. Whereas you could also say, to its credit, that Jedi Rocks provides a harsher contrast. So everything's like, cool, upbeat, and then it's like, eat. And you're like, oh God. so it's a bit more jarring.
Let's get a cool
both have their
uh-oh
pros and
from
cons.
Sice Noodles. Just
Wow.
saying.
You do.
Like, that's,
You do
that's
get a good.
Yes.
uh-oh.
That lives in
I
my
like
head.
that.
There's just that's one of those Star Wars sounds that lives in my head. That and the yeah from Attack of the Clones and the Jedi, fighting the droids and everything.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
somebody out there that saw what I'm seeing when I say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um,
The sound of Jango Fett's head hitting the ground is a sound effect that lives in my head rent free.
Oh yeah.
get
Yeah.
there.
That's dark.
Um,
I
that's
replay it
general-
in
my
my
This is
favorite
why we're
lonely nights
friends.
at sea.
So.
But you did hear it first. Matt did say that Jerry Alza is cinema, so we're there. It plays
Thank
well
you.
in the cinema. So there's experiences like that. There are some, I'm a big one that like of the sequel trilogy. I'll say The Last Jedi is the best to see in cinema. It plays so well on the big and the small screen. It plays
Does.
so well with and without dialogue. Even I was preaching the gospel of the
Really
soundtrack.
does, doesn't it?
Mhm.
It's so good. I love that movie so much. It was interesting because hearing you talk about like Empire and how glossed it kind of became with the special editions. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, like the Empire probably got it the most right of what George Lucas had set out to do in terms of I just want this to be a little bit better, right? To really A New Hope gets there, but definitely A New Hope. I think it's just because there's so much in there. I think that's why it hits people a little bit more because I do think a lot of what they did do is polishing. It's just a lot of polish, whereas with Empire there wasn't as much. And so I'd mentioned Cloud City, and for obvious reasons I watched that and I'm like, ooh, this is different. But it's funny that the other thing that I realized stuck out to me, and I remember this, was also from Empire. It was on Hoth, because some people, maybe newer listeners of the show, don't know how big of a fan of the Battle of Hoth that I am. It's sad, but I love that.
It's adorable, is what it is.
There's a scene they added an ATST in the background because by this point they're like, oh well, what about the chicken walker? We should probably include that for continuity. So they add, and I remember Leonardo DiCaprio meme like that's different. They did something. I watched that scene religiously as a kid. Like I would put it on just for that. Then I'd rewind and watch it again. I'd watch it so much.
That's awesome.
I loved it. Like if there was ever a thing, if you ever walked in on little John Jr., first of all, I'd say, Daddy, and it would never be, but it'd be somebody walking in on me recreating the Hoth battle scene.
Still getting the cigarettes.
Cross off your bingo list.
Hey son, let me tell you something.
After I finish this Amidala,
So
go like it.
Give me another beer.
One of my favorite, I love a lot. I really love a lot. I love, and I'm probably one of the only ones. I haven't met anybody else that explicitly claims it as one of their preferred or even favorite changes, but I love the no in episode 6 from Darth Vader when he, just before he goes to pick up the Emperor. Oh gosh, you're in
half.
So
hello, I love the no.
Yeah, my friend, my fellow no.
Just saying.
I found you. So like
Matt's gonna go back to bed.
That's one of the things of it's a very emotional choice of why I like it. I like a lot of the gravity that it adds, and Charles Soule actually did an interview a few years ago when he was writing the Darth Vader comics, even, which Charles Soule, check out his stuff if you want to break your heart. And that's everything from Darth Vader to High Republic, man. But he did an interview where he talked about, he included no a lot for Vader. And part of the reason was because of the scene. And hearing him talk about the way that rejection has been such an anchor to the character of Anakin Skywalker, that no in episode 6 is the first time he really rejected the right thing. I'm like, oh, you're putting my feelings to words. I love this. And so, I really felt that from the get-go of just like, no, like, I just attach any of the things that bug you in life to Palpatine, and just the power of no to that. Like, oh, I wish I could throw some of my problems down a reactor shaft.
Can't
like for me, like that was the most Anakin Skywalker thing that Darth Vader said. It was very Anakin Skywalker for him to go no out loud. Like to say that now with the prequels and everything with who he was and stuff. And I'm not talking about bad dialogue or whatever. I'm talking that's that character. He would verbally reject. He would go like, no, you're like,
Yeah,
that's what he would do. But Anakin Skywalker was big and like, he had a big personality, he was very, not full of himself. He's very confident and all that kind of stuff, and he was very vocal, I think, with his frustrations, obviously. Like he always like, I can't believe we're doing this bull crap. And come on, Jedi Council.
Not that the original was wrong or bad, or that I didn't feel something there, but taking vociferous and physical expression of that meaningful moment. Like for me, tangible things, like there's people that could say, well, the presence matters. Like I was there for you, and it's like, yeah, but I want to hear from you. Right? Like I don't want you to be proud by being present with me. I want to hear that. I didn't have a dad. I want to hear that.
Get more jokes. Good dad. Come on, man.
Oh gosh. But but seriously, like for me, that bringing it to the physical, right? Like you said, which is a very Anakin thing, but bringing it to the point of an actual no. It's not just an action, but it's an expression. Beautiful cinema to me.
Yeah.
For a less interesting one, one of my other favorites is actually the thunk of the Stormtrooper helmet in Episode 4. Like I love that they just embrace.
They should replace it with like the coconut noise, don't or something,
Yeah.
Now that stuff's added in. I think both of those things they weren't in the cinema release. They were they were the home release special edition.
Yeah.
So like,
these things haven't been special. These things haven't been the original cut since they were in the theater.
No,
like come on.
No, but
I actually want to say
they've been added in stages. I think the DVD's got the thunk.
No, so I think that was VHS, but I know that the Darth Vader was a 2004 DVD.
The DVD
the Rock
Blu-ray
in front of R2 was as well.
Yes.
Or at least that might have been a Blu-ray. Actually,
also,
oh god,
and to even out, because Matt is a balanced person, and to even out that, like, although I love Star Wars, I do also have things where I'm like, that's a choice. The changing the scream of Kenobi when he approaches the
3 times.
where I'm like,
yeah,
it was and it's another one of those, like, it's such a Star Wars sound. That original sound, and so when it changed to literally just a dude hollering, I was like
I like
more
Joseph Scrimshaw describes it as like a drunk NASCAR fan.
Yeah, that is 100% what it is.
And that is never. I've never heard it described more accurately.
Right,
So, but like that is actually my least favorite change. That's what I will say. That is why we're the same.
And that is why the Sand People ran, really, is because NASCAR is the scariest thing.
NASCAR. Yeah. And Brian here, he brings up something that I think Andy did as well a little bit earlier, but
that was
a forgotten favorite of mine was Hayden showing up.
Yeah.
I like you know what? I'll even add on the no there, because like I talk so much when we talk about the prequels about the switch from Anakin to Darth Vader getting flipped. I think that's not necessarily when he's kneeling in front of Sidious, but as soon as he decides, you know what, I'm going to kill some younglings. Why not? It's a Wednesday. What else am I going to do?
Right.
But that is the switch, flipping back from Darth Vader to Anakin Skywalker in that no.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes perfect sense for Hayden Christensen to be in that final scene, because he's not Darth Vader anymore. He's Anakin Skywalker. That was the last time he appeared as Anakin Skywalker. Why wouldn't it make sense?
I like a universe where both can exist, because I definitely think in some spiritual way that, like, in his new found eternal existence, that's just how he chose to remember himself in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
he wanted to do that.
I think that's
He was
wonderful.
a good man.
Exactly.
Part of the only reason, and I'll just admit it, part of the only reason I like Sebastian Shaw for the ending is literally because I had this huge, well, not huge, it was 12 inches, but I was a small child. I had a huge box set that had a figure of Sebastian's Anakin and a book about from creation to death of Darth Vader or something like that. It was written,
Oh,
it was
Mhm.
taking it from Macquarie concept to episode 6.
was
it
that
was like a
like-
pyramid shape. Yeah.
I've got the 3PO of that.
There's
I've got
another
the-
one.
Yeah, it was a series. So there was
Oh my
a couple of different characters. So I've got the C3PO of that. I bought that on my first trip to the States as an adult, like so in 2002. Yeah, I bought it on a trip in 2002 and had to carry that thing around in a suitcase.
That
like,
was one of the
all
most,
over.
special birthday gifts I ever got in the middle of a CC's pizza. I just get this big old
They're
hunk.
very cool.
Oh yeah, let's give the child an old man doll. Without context, it's just an old man.
So to this comment that,
In a robe, too,
Alden's
sorry.
just made, it was something that as you were talking about it, I was thinking about the Anakin showing back up, and to both your points, Boop, as well. Like, I think of it almost kind of like going into the Matrix in a sense.
Mhm.
So like Anakin saw the last time he saw himself fully, like, able-bodied and all that sort of stuff, that's what he looked like. Obviously, as Vader, he saw himself probably looking mangled. So he looked like the Sebastian Shaw head, but all of his stunt, he would have seen himself that way.
Mhm.
So to then die and then to come up with what you're, or maybe not come up with, but then to have your self-projection through the Force, surely, if we're getting technical here, surely it should be a stumpy floating ghost, with like all the birds. I was like,
Right.
hey, son. Like, but the old
It's like
man
something out of
version,
Hellraiser
so
or
like
something,
sags and-
Well, listen, if Luke can choose to come back in The Rise of Skywalker with his hand back intact, surely Anakin can choose to come back young and spry. Like,
Exactly.
but Luke saw himself with.
exactly. I choose to see myself as a two-handed man.
He knows what his uncharred hand, or he remembers what his uncharred hand looks like with his kind of body. Like Anakin been pretty charred up, and he'd had that hand cut off and robot handed for a long time.
Can you imagine burnt Anakin ghost?
Yeah.
I want to. That's what I'm trying to.
Like wearing a robe, like the arms are.
Would he be
hanging and
floating?
It's like that scene in Hellraiser where it's like you put.
I'd like to think he would just be on the ground.
I'd like to think that he's also imagining himself on a little podium, like a special little viewing platform, that a Force viewing
Yoda
platform that he imagines.
He's in that Yoda chair. He's in the.
Oh my gosh!
Well, what's up, my boy?
Matt, you got there, you went there with it, and so I'll pose it to Boop and Gerry as well. If you could make, and this will kind of be our wrap up, but if you could make a special edition change, and it does not have to be exclusive to the originals at all. If you could make a special edition change, and Matt, you can get a second go if we're going to open it up, but to any Star Wars.
That gets two.
Any Star Wars.
Yes.
What would it be? Boop.
I have a ready answer because I think about this.
An answer. So
okay, so we watch The Phantom Menace multiple times a week at this point. I think it's pretty obvious. That's the comfort movie.
Bombad.
You put that face away,
What are you
John
doing?
Wayne. The Windows 94 background on almost every scene on Naboo. Can we please update it? Can we put some foliage in the background? Can we have like some trees maybe? I know that they're on a hill. It's like, but it's so It hurts my
I can't not
eyes.
see it that way
Keep
now.
waiting for a
actually.
dun 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 dun, you know, or
It's
whatever.
Exactly.
the wide shots, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes.
they go to that extent of showing like the tanks hovering over and the grass blades moving.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it's everything in that medium to long sort of view. It's
Well,
just like,
I was going to say, I think that shot just before the MTT comes over the crest of the hill is exactly what you see when you boot up Adele back in the day.
Exactly. And, you know, we've seen how beautiful Naboo is in many different shots.
yeah.
Sure.
But for some reason, that one
So not just
bit of
grass and
field.
sky.
Exactly. Like, it just, a tree. That's all I'm asking.
That's
a cow, maybe.
a happy little tree. I like that. That's a very Bob
I'm just glad
Ross
someone
quote.
mowed that field for them before they started the fight. You know, that's what I was really happy about. So,
It's probably the droids.
yeah, probably.
There's, you
Or
know
like-
what? There's probably some book where Pablo Hidalgo was like, yeah, it grows 3 inches and stops, like or something.
Well, that's what I was like, because just think about it. It's not like it's supposed to be like way out past any civilization, right? And it's
Right.
huge, and it's
Mm.
like there's like a groundskeeper that keeps like, hey, will you go out? Hey, Ted, go out and mow the giant freaking grassland today, please. It's
Go
your
mow the
day. It's your
battlefield.
day.
That's how
That's
they
what the
punish
tick bears
people.
are for.
In a pacifist nation such as Naboo, that's how you punish
The
people. Give them the chore of mowing the ultimate lawn.
Naboo's golf course ruined. Half Muff just said,
Yes.
"Oh,
Or
that would be a
improve.
funny project.
That's what it was.
If you could do
that's-
VFX, like that would be a funny project to fix up the background but make it into a country club. That's where the
Exactly, just
war
have
happens.
dudes in the background,
Specifically,
like,
the
like,
country
as
club
long
from
as I-
what's
Caddyshack.
going on over there?
Ooh, intercut the battle scene with scenes of Bill Murray just doing things in the background.
Yeah. Rodney
Just like-
Dangerfield
John Candy's
dancing
there
in the background.
driving one of the tanks. I love it. Gerry, if you could specialize a Star Wars in some fashion, what would you do?
Oh boy. I don't know if I have a specific answer, honestly, but like I talked about this, I think just yesterday or I talked about this sometime recently. I talk about it a lot of the time. But anyway, I just want a release of a special edition for do a special edition of the sequel of the sequels, the prequels. Do like and make it a big like event or something, and again, just have it beef up the special effects, but like make it like just kind of, you know, blend together a little better or something, you know, like add maybe some of the deleted scenes where, like, you know, add that scene where the in Revenge of the
Star
Sith,
Wars. I
the
think you're going to
senators.
Star Wars.
Star Wars,
And
that's the one. The
Anakin.
one with
Add
the
the
one
Star
with the
Wars.
one with the laser swords. That's the one. No, where in Revenge of the Sith, when Padme's meeting with the delegation of 1,000 or whatever, is that what it is?
Yeah.
The peace.
Put
people.
that scene in there. Like put that more in. Put more of that kind of stuff in.
Yes.
I think that's that. But like, you know, and honestly, I would love to see like do a big event where like the entire year you're gonna do special editions of the prequels, but also like, you know, fix up, like do like beef up, like you were saying, Matt, like do like, you know, give a touch up to the original trilogy, you know. And if I don't know what you could just release the sequels just cuz if you wanted to. You know, I mean, I don't know like how much more you like need to do the special editions if they wanted to add anything to them at all. Like it would be cool, but I just want like I want Star Wars coming back to the theater. Right. I know we're like getting tons of like, you know, new Star Wars films, but and so it's like when the old ones re-release, it's not like it's more like oh, we got, you know, hey, we got some prints here at the theater. We're going to show them before the new one comes out. And I want another, here it comes, a big event. We're doing a big event. We're doing this. But then keep the editions before this so people don't get really, you know, pissy and all that kind of stuff, you know, pissing their knickers and all that, as they say, I think, where Matt's from. But
I don't think he's wearing knickers.
possibly pantaloons, maybe.
Pantaloons.
Pissy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I get my terminology right. But anyway,
Crappy dax.
That's what I would do. I would love like a big event where they're re-releasing it, and I don't know.
I'm with
Scotty
you,
wanted
Gerry.
them to re-release the 3D prequels like they were doing before, like Disney bought it and stuff, which I would be fine with that too. But like, just like, let's do a re-special edition for like everything, and just kind of make it a big event and
Sure.
maybe sell
Well,
people on it,
I would love and I would cry if I would love them to do all of that. I'd love a re-release of everything in theaters. I haven't seen the originals. That still remains the things I haven't seen in theater. They did the big marathon before episode 7, but that was incredibly inaccessible to us,
right?
And where we lived and everything. And so like to do a full on, like, no, this is what we're gonna do. One movie a month. Let's go.
Like new posters and everything. I'm talking, you know what I mean? Like they did. That was the coolest thing about the special editions is they had those Drew Struzan posters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love all of that, even if they only did one little change to anything. Whatever justifies it. Let's do that. 'Cause that'd be amazing. And I mean, heck, we're 45 years. If we don't do it at 50, when are we going to do it? I think at that point, but I would love that for sure.
Eli's got a great I like his little tease. Put an Exegol tease at the end of TLJ for the special edition, but possibly be kind of cool. I don't know. Like you'd have to do it right.
Reinsert the baby head.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes, please. I would. Oh, that's something I would put the Eye of Webbish Bog for sure, because that beginning felt a little.
It's very jarring.
It's truncated for sure. Yeah, well, again, I mean, I would just and much love to J&J, but like I'd love if we just got Rise of Skywalker directed by Rian Johnson. That's the special edition. I'm just kidding. But do give that man more jobs because he's amazing.
Give him more movies just in general. I love that man.
In honor of Rian Johnson and Bruce Willis, everybody go watch Looper. It's on Netflix right now and it's amazing.
So good.
Such a good movie.
Good.
Matt,
is that Rian Johnson?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
First Rian Johnson movie I ever saw.
Open it up. So you've already said what you'd love to do with the originals and all that good stuff. But like, if I could push you out of that and make a change anywhere else, what would it be?
No, he would, to echo what Gerry said. Yeah, I would take that same approach of making the original trilogy look up to date and sort of in line from a technical quality, and I mean purely from a visual technical quality perspective. I'd do that same thing with the prequels, especially all three of them when it comes to just the screen, things like the green screening, the quality of the foreground and background elements, where they don't blend very well, where if you were doing it today, you would have really high quality specular lighting and ray traced lighting, all that stuff that adds depth and makes things feel like they're just there. I don't even think you'd have to change the models necessarily. Things like there's a particular one where Obi-Wan, Yoda, and I think it's Mace are walking through the Jedi Temple, and the way that everything looks from a lighting perspective, it's so green screen looking, like that. But if you were to take the foreground elements out, the background looks stunning. It looks stunning.
Sure.
So take that same model, update the way the lighting is hitting and rendered, add some depth and shading and shadow, like that would make it look so much better, and it wouldn't actually change any of the scenes at all. Then also while you're at it, justify its existence a bit more by re-releasing in cinema, adding in some of the deleted scenes. A special edition of the prequels is overdue at this point. Sure. But I think we've got the right visual aesthetic in current Star Wars now that they could do it and make it look like really good.
Absolutely.
really good.
I love all of that. I think, well, it's an interesting proposition. I think definitely whatever happens, we need a huge re-release campaign, no matter what it is. But for that sake, I would love it to be a very ridiculous change. Um, and so I want to. My heart tells me something with Jar Jar, but instead,
I love it already.
I think I would like to be chaotic and add back in every deleted scene ever.
Yeah.
Like from every movie.
Make it huge.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because it's Star Wars is one of those things. Almost everything deleted. I'll say almost everything. Almost everything. It doesn't change anything about the story. It's literally just we filmed it, it's there, and it happens off screen with what we see now. It's just put it on screen. Let me see Biggs. Let me see Padme's family. Let me see them walking out of the bongo as they enter Naboo. Let me see young Mon Mothma meeting with Padme on Coruscant. Let me see the Eye of Webbish Bot. Let me see all of that. Give me all of the Star Wars. Like, just accept that all Star Wars is good Star Wars, and you'll be a lot happier. So I'd love that. Like, you're getting all of the deleted scenes and unreleased footage in your brand new Star Wars coming to cinemas.
Yes, release the J-Dub cut.
Release the J-Dub cut. Hey, if you put it on a hashtag on Twitter like that, it's got to happen, right? That's what the Snyderverse told me. But
if you get enough people loud enough, you can make anything happen.
That's true, even if they're wrong.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
right.
Except for anything meaningful.
Well, we might not get what we've asked for. We might not get those special editions, but we did get a special edition of Nerdherder, and literally the only thing special about it is Gerry and Matt, you guys joining us for this. Phenomenal, loved it, and we'll be happy to have you back very soon. Actually, I think we've talked with both of you a little bit about future plans anyway. So trust that if you see a face once on Nerdherder, you're going to see them again, and if you don't, it was probably the Men in Black. But
don't say that.
As far as we can help it, we will have the boys back. Be sure to check out Blue Bantha Milk Co. and as well Bombad Cast. Bombad actually does a few different things. You've got Hyperfocus with Gerry. You've also got Gaming with Scotty, which is just chaotic and hilarious.
It's a lot of yelling.
A lot of people buying him begging people to buy him food as well.
That's true. Yes. But and then you've got lovely stuff.
He's very hungry.
From the Banthaverse anyway, where we get the lovely Chris Ryans from Broaxium fame as the Lando. So many lovely boys, so many lovely peoples in this. It's a lot of fun, and it has been
fortunate. We're all fortunate to have found each other, I think.
Oh yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Find you some pickle friends like we have. But you can't have our pickles. Sorry.
No. We have all the pickles.
But again, shout out to all the lovely folks that have been tuning into this live and keeping things lovely and interesting. Just a reminder, if you're listening to this after the fact, you can do that. You can check in live. You can get your bad comments memorialized on YouTube. And we would love to have you anytime. But if you're listening to this after the fact, know that you can still participate and interact by sharing and all of that lovely stuff. Or you can go even further. There's links in the description now for things like Nerdherder merch. You can do that now. In a night of spontaneity and poor judgment, I set up some merch with TeePublic, so you can check that out.
Hey, that's what got us married. So I'm not.
And so in order, because we kind of did some, so obviously you can get our logo, but we did something that is a little Pickle Friends exclusive, which is just our podcast and Star Warsy friend group and whatnot, in that we commemorated that Boop roasts beans, roasts your beans specifically.
So very well.
And so to bring that to the rest of Nerdherder, we've kind of kept that in the Discord that no one's invited to, but to share that lovely gift with the world, Boop, would you mind roasting Gerry's beans for us live tonight?
Ooh.
Let me have it. Destroy me.
Ooh, Gerry, you look like a Star Wars fan.
Ouch. I think that's the worst one I
Gosh.
think I've ever gotten,
You
actually.
look like you listen to Star Wars podcasts and have
You
opinions.
look like you have a Star Wars podcast.
Yes, you. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm fine.
Love you, buddy. But yes, if you would like the illustrious Boop to roast your beans, I hear tell you can do that for the low price of $1 a month over on our Patreon. Get your beans roasted and then commemorate it with a lovely T-shirt as well, or just get a T-shirt. Just get
I'd
it.
like to point out
Get a
that I've had to
t-shirt.
roast my brothers, all 2 of them out of 3,
Yes.
for the price of 3 of our entire childhood. But also, I got paid to do it recently. It was lovely.
It's lovely.
Nice.
It's lovely
It's pretty
stuff.
fantastic.
And so, yeah, you can do all of that. Check all of that out. Thank you for tuning in, listening. We're back next week, where hopefully our arrangement in front of this camera is more convenient and I have more coffee. Who knows? But we do have exciting things coming. So all the more reason to follow us on social medias and subscribe on the YouTubes if you're not already.
Do it.
Do
Why haven't you done it already?
right.
Subscribe.
Do
Give
it
us a kiss
right now.
and subscribe.
The
Hit the
Pitbull
button.
boys are after you. But until
Click
next
the
week,
button.
everybody on the count of 3, give me a nice and purdy stay scruffy. 1, 2, 3.
Stay screwed.
Stay scruffy.
Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.